Hello everyone, welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I'm your host, Stan Rattan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I try to help you spend your wine dollars wisely. And you know what? We work hard for our money. We want to get a good bottle of wine for the money. And I've had a little bit of a break. Some reason my schedule has not worked out to be able to record videos. A lot of stuff going on when I normally do it. So, you know, I'm doing it early today, getting an early start. By the way, a lot of wine critics and wine tasters like to taste like at 9 in the morning. They feel their palate is sharper. I happen to agree with that. And so I'm doing an early video. Eyes are still a little blurry, although I've been up for a while. I don't know why they're blurry. But anyway, we're going to get started. I'm trying to break a habit. I noticed a lot of my videos, and maybe I'm the only one that notices this, but I always start off today. Well, you know, you guys all know it's today. By the way, just shout out to the Mariners. Won their first home game against the Angels. Very cool. Hernandez, you know, rocking it. I'm really for. They're actually down in Vegas. They're predicting that the Mariners will actually have a chance to win the World Series, which that would be very exciting. Back to the Seahawks bucket. I don't know if you noticed last episode. I used a black bucket. I'm going to alternate, but I like them both. You know, whatever. So. Benson Vineyards Estate Winery out of Lake Chelan. I just discovered them at a tasting I went to. Normally they haven't had a distributor in the state of Washington, and fortunately my good buddy Mike Burns, who was on an earlier video way back in the day, we're on episode 194 now, he approached these guys and said, hey, you know, I love your wines, would you want to be part of our distribution system? And they said yes, they agreed, and you know, now Dickerson Distributing up in Bellingham distributes Benson wines. I tasted the Reds, loved the Reds, absolutely adored them. I'm going to do a piece on my blog about Benson Vineyards Estate Winery. That's a mouthful. Anyway, I'm going to do an episode on them. This is all estate-grown fruit. They own all their fruit. I believe they have like 23 acres. Is that right? Anyway, I wrote it down somewhere. 23 acres on the north slope of Lake Chelan, a beautiful area in Washington State, up a little north of the Columbia Valley AVA. Lake Chelan AVA is actually a fairly recent addition to the 14 AVAs of Washington State, and a lot of wineries up there now. I haven't been there in a while, but everybody that goes visits there says, Stan, you got to check it out. There are so many wineries up in Lake Chelan. Well, this is one of them. And they pulled up all the apple orchards on their property, and I don't know, they might still have some apples up there. I'm going to visit up there before I do the article. That's my plan. Let's see how it works. Let's get started. I met the winemaker, very nice guy, very humble. I was just so excited about the Reds. I didn't get a chance to taste the white, so now I'm going to do it here on YouTube. 2012, Pinot Gris, Lake Chelan AVA. This rolls in at $15. Now, Pinot Gris is just continuing to be one of the most popular varietals in the wine world, in my department especially. And as all of you know, I'm not like a super huge fan of Pinot Gris Grigio, and I like them. I have ones I like. I have ones that I don't like at all. I think that some of the ones from northern Italy are just, you know, basically very simple whites that you can quaff on the deck, and that's why people like them. What can I say? Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get a lot of apples and melons on the nose. A little bit of white flowers coming through, which I like. There's an interesting grapefruit pith coming through. Boy, I couldn't spit that one out. Let's see what we get on the palate. A lot of apples. You get a lot of apples, get a little bit of apple skin. A little bit on the finish, I get like a grapefruit pith, lemon pith, which is the pulp right next to the skin. This has got good balance. This is good gut, has good acidity. I like that. It's very bright on the palate, but it has a nice creamy mid palate to it, which is really interesting. So it goes from apples to kind of this creamy sort of blend of apples and citrus, and then it finishes with more of a citrus type finish than the start. Like I said, nice flow across the palate. I like this Pinot Gris. I think it's very good. I think it would be great with any sort of shellfish, mussels, clams, oysters. It'd be good with a fowl, chicken. It has a nice creaminess on the palate that would match up with that. I would have it with some sort of noodle dish as long as it wasn't too spicy. I'm going to go B+ on that. That is a really good Pinot Gris. These guys continue to impress me so far. Now, let's move on. We're moving on to a varietal that is gaining in popularity. Especially in my store, I noticed a lot of people are turning to Viognier. Now, Viognier, of course, kind of originated in the Rhone Valley. They do it a lot, and it's way more expensive than many of the Viogniers you get in this part of the country. This is a Benson Vineyards 2013 Viognier. This rolls in at $17. So they have a really nice label. I like their label quite a bit. Good job, guys. Let's see what we get on the nose. It's always exciting to find new wineries, to discover new wines, especially when they're good. It's amazing how many are out there. There's so many. There's over 800 wineries in Washington State, but a very small percentage of those wineries actually produce most of the wine in the state. So there's a lot of what we call boutique wineries. These guys produce about 5,000 cases a year, which is very small, but still, you know, that's where you find a lot of the great wines, are these guys that kind of handcraft their wines. This is all estate-grown fruit, which is really cool. They don't source their fruit from anywhere else, and the vineyards are really close to the actual winery itself, which means the fruit has very little travel time, which is also beneficial, so the fruit is very fresh when it gets to the winery. There's a lot of wineries out there like that, but that's a plus for a lot of wineries. Let's see what we get on the nose with this Viognier. So typical Viognier, it's very tropical on those. I'm getting a lot of tropical fruits. I'm getting mango, papaya. I get a little bit of peach. The fruit, the meat of the peach. It's very perfumed, which I like. I got a little bit of interesting, a little bit of graham cracker crust coming through. And a little bit of like, have you ever guys had Raisin Bran Crunch? Love that cereal. You get a little bit of that essence coming through on the nose, which is interesting. Very nice nose. Let's see what we get on the palate. Such a different wine. It's very full on the palate, very creamy, very good balance. I like this wine. Lower in acidity, but there's still good acid. You always need a little bit of acid on your wine, especially when you want to have it with food, but you can just enjoy this wine on a nice warm, on a sunny day on the back porch, backyard, at a picnic. It's really good. Has nice, there's mango, big time, papaya coming through, pureed papaya and mango. Get a little bit of a melon component coming through, a little banana, just a hint of banana on the back end. Long finish, all those elements come through and hang on the finish. I like that wine. I like that Viognier. Good balance. Some Viogniers, especially I know from Cali, can get really like a fruit salad in your mouth and almost like cloying a little bit. This has a nice clean finish, which I like a lot. I'm going to go B plus A minus on that one. Nice job, guys. They continue to impress me with their whites. Let's move on. Give it a little rinse here. By the way, I would like to have your input if you'd like to make a comment, and we talked about this. The community I live in here in Friday Harbor, San Juan Island, they're very good about telling me about my videos in person, but they do not like to comment. I'm not sure why. We talked about this. I talked about this with a couple of people. For some reason, my homies here have trouble commenting. I appreciate all those who have subscribed to my channel. Some are having a difficulty. I think all you have to do, there's a little red subscribe button down below my video as you're watching it. All you have to do is hit that and follow the instructions. I think you can do it. I believe you can do it. I can't believe I have to get 500 subscribers to even be able to get the automatic subscribe button. It's a little easier. I believe it's a little easier. So Benson Vineyards 2012 Chardonnay, all from the Lake. All of these are state grown, so they're all from the Lake Chelan AVA. This rolls in at $16. I'm very curious about this. It's one of those wines in Washington that there's not a huge amount of really great Chardonnays. I've found more and more as we've progressed, but the state is not necessarily known for Chardonnay necessarily, although there are some great Chardonnays coming out of the state now. And of course St. Michel, you know, has always been a steady Eddie when it comes to that. Let's see what we get on the nose. The oak coming through. I get a lot of oak on this nose and apples. Hint of really sweet pineapple coming through. Whew. Like butter pineapple perfume coming through, which is not gross, by the way. That's just what I'm getting. It's like a really perfumed nose. A little bit of toast. Obviously has oak on it. There's no doubt about it. Let's see what we get on the palate. I'm impressed. This has a lot of elements to it that I think a lot of you are going to like. Has a little bit of butter, a little bit of that butterscotchy thing going on. The oak is in balance. You don't ever get like that huge, like you're chewing on wood sort of thing. I get a lot of apples and pineapple coming through. Big time on the pineapple. Long finish. Long finish. You get a little bit of that oak on the finish, that buttery kind of oaky thing. But it's, like I said, it's not like chewing on wood, which is a good thing. A lot of you that like oak will like this. A lot of you that dislike oak will still like it because there's good acid to this wine, which I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I think I met Scott Benson. That's a dude I met. He's the winemaker at the event. I believe that was him. I'm pretty sure. I don't have his business card, but I'm pretty sure it was winemaker Scott. Very humble guy. Loved him a lot. He's got some skills. This is a good Chardonnay. I mean, yeah, really good. 17 bucks. Like I said, nice balance. Now, granted, there's a few of you that liked unoaked Chardonnays or might not like this, but I think this is it's going to have a broad appeal. I'm going to go A- on that. That's an incredible Chardonnay for $17, really. I'm impressed. Okay, let's move on. We got 4 wines here. Don't want to go too long in this video. Trying to keep them down. I appreciate you that watch these, you know, that really pay attention and check them out. Viewership's going up on the older episodes. I see a lot of the numbers building there. Newer episodes sometimes it's like pathetic, like 6 views. Keep working on it. Got to keep hustling. Benson Vineyards 2013 Curious. This is also Lake Chelan, obviously. This is a blend, a white blend. It is 50% Chardonnay, 50% Viognier. Now, I have not had a lot of Viognier Chardonnay blends. I'm going to show you the label, even though they all look the same. But I want to see if you can see that curious on there. There you go. All right, let's see what we get on the nose. Interesting, I'm almost getting like a little liqueur sort of thing on the nose. Getting little apples, and like, to me, it's like golden raisin, you know, golden raisins, that's what I'm getting. Pureed golden raisins and apples. But it has a very liqueur type nose, almost like a, reminds me a little bit of a Calvados on the nose. By the way, Vineyard in the Northern Rhone, for some reason I was like going through my mind, something else was coming through. They call it Condrieu, so if you ever see a Condrieu, you know it's Viognier. And sometimes they blend, I think they blend Marsanne, sometimes a little Marsanne in there, maybe some Roussanne, but usually Viognier, sometimes 100%, most times 100% Viognier. Very expensive. I mean, a Condrieu out of Northern Rhone will go for $50, $60 easily. And so a lot of people don't try them. They're very, very rich wines. Just had to go back because for some reason I'm having this mental block of, what do they call that? You know, that's the way our brain, it's early. Granted, it's early, not making excuses, but it is a little bit early. So again, you know what I'm getting on this, it's really curious to me, is a little bit of an oatmeal, like a oatmeal, like one of those oat bars, you know, granola bars, a little bit of that. Let's see what we get on the palate. Woo! Wow! Wasn't expecting that. This is a very fruit-forward, very sweet wine. I almost get like a granulated sugar element on it. Kind of reminds me of a late harvest or a Riesling, but not a Riesling. Kind of like a cross between a Riesling and a Gewürztraminer. Yeah, I mean, I get a little bit of that nuttiness of the Gewürztraminer that explains that kind of a granola bar sort of nose on it. Get a little bit of Meyer's lemon, a little sweeter lemon. But this is a very fruit-forward wine. This is a sweet wine. This would be a great with Asian food or sushi or something like that. Something spicy, this would be a great wine with that. You need to expect sweetness on this. It does remind me of a Gou or a Riesling kind of... Interesting that a Chardonnay and Viognier can be like that. I wonder if they use riper fruit. I'll have to ask him about this. This was $14. I don't know if I mentioned that. If you expect a sweet wine, I think you're really going to like this. Again, it has good balance. It finishes clean, but that sweetness sort of lingers. Yeah, it's like I get a really, like an apple dipped in sugar. But the sugar, I mean, I don't get the granulated, like it's not a fakey sugar, but it is very sweet. It's like an apple dipped in sugar with a little bit of, maybe a little bit of peaches thrown in, some white flowers. Like I said, it finishes clean. I wasn't expecting that, really. Chardonnay Viognier, I did not expect to get it this sweet. I had to kind of like shift my mind. Okay, this is what I expected, this is what I'm getting. Doesn't say late harvest on it by any stretch. It's only 11.7% alcohol. For those of you that drink Gewürztraminer or Riesling, you're going to really like this wine. I like it too. I'm going to go B+ on it. I think it's, for what it is, it's very good. It's good balance. There is some acid to it. It's not a flabby wine. It's just sweeter than I thought. I had to kind of take my mind out of it and go, okay, this is what we're drinking, and I really like it. Big fan of Benson Vineyards Estate Winery. Love them. I'm going to do a piece on them. Nice meeting you, Scott. I think it was Scott I met. I'm pretty sure it's Scott I met. And I'm really looking forward to writing up this winery. I'm very excited about their wines. If you see Benson Vineyards wines, snap them up. They're not expensive. They're very reasonably priced. Thanks for watching. And remember, wine is not a mystery. It is just fermented grape juice. Drink it. Enjoy it. Be true to your palate. Always be willing to try new things. But never, ever let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't like. And if we do that together, we can take the snob out of wine.